Hi folks, Modelling Mark here again. Right, before we get into the next video, got a new sticker for the sticker board. This one's from Rustinox. I think you can go there, Rustinox. Yeah, the ideal place for you. Rustinox, Michelle from Belgium. He's got a very nice machining channel, very eclectic. Does a bit of model engineering, he works on a tram, does maintenance associated with the trams, does a bit of tool making, bit of everything really. Very interesting, very eclectic channel. I'll leave a description to his channel in the description. Another quick question for you all. I've got some fairly heavy duty parting off to do on the Quorn, and a lot of people have suggested getting a rear mounted tool post. So I've done that. That's the casting from the Hemingway kit's larger rear mounted tool post. Now the question for you is, it's a fairly simple build with just a couple of interesting points. Would you like to see me make this and take a short break from the Quorn? Or shall I just get on, do this quickly, not video it, and then I can carry on with the Quorn a bit quicker? Please let me know in the comments. The next part I'm going to tackle is the spindle nut. This part here, it threads onto the end of the spindle, which I completed in the last video. It's a little bit of light relief after the spindle, which was definitely a bit testing. And so it's a circular nut, 3 holes, so I'll need to make a C-spanner. There's a recess for the drawbar knob, a thread where it threads onto the spindle. You'll notice on the drawing it gives an outer diameter of 20.6 millimeters. I'm actually going to reduce that to 20 millimeters so that it'll fit in my largest ER32 collet. I really don't think the 0.6 millimeters off the diameter is going to make any difference at all. As you can see, I've got the bar set up. It's a 1-inch bar. It's supported with the fixed steady because 1-inch material won't go down the throat of my chuck. It's faced off already. Now I need to take this diameter down to 20 millimeters for a length of about 20 millimeters. Okay, this is going to take a bit of time, so I'll bring you back when I've finished. This is the last cut. That's come out at 20.05 millimeters. And it's a nice surface finish. Just needs a little bit of clean up with an emery paper to take off the machining marks. Now I'm going to drill this out to 31/64, which is the tapping size for the 0.512 by 32 TPI thread that I've got. As soon as I got a nice cobalt drill that went into high tensile steel, no problem. Hopefully that'll go into free cutting mild steel. Well, that didn't even break into a sweat. We'll go in with a 3/8 drill now. And finally the 31/64. I think there's a bit of a ropey grind on that drill. The lathe really didn't like it and the parts got very hot. Now I've got to bore a recess here 1/8 of an inch deep and coming out to 11/16, which is 0.6875. That'll do nicely. I'm just going to go in an extra 5 thou and then along to take any machining marks off the bottom of face. I've got an internal threading tool set up here. It's already set square. I set it square by setting the edge of the bar parallel to the edge of the work, and I'm hoping that the cutting face is perpendicular to the bar. Now I'm cutting under power into a blind hole, so I've got a DRO set on the lathe with 0 set beyond the depths the thread needs to go, but well before the bottom of the blind hole. So I can just run the thread in until the DRO hits 0 and then disengage the lead screw. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but it just started to cut. Let's see if it fits. That's almost. Let's see how deep it's going. Bit of Sharpie there so we can see how deep it's going. It needs to go a little bit deeper than that. Okay, I think we'll take that. Now it needs a little bit of a polish up with the abrasive pad. Okay, that's good enough, so that'll polish up nicely. Alright, now I'm going to part this off with a bit extra material so I can hold it in the collet chuck. But first of all, I'm going to cut a groove at the finished width. That's so that when I put it in the collet chuck the wrong way round, I don't have to try to measure the width. I can just machine down to the edge of the groove. Just enough so I can machine down to that edge so I don't have to measure anything again. Now we've got the nut set in the hex block, held in the collet obviously, and I've got a vice stop on the back of the collet. Now I've indexed the DRO, so 00 is centered on the nut on this edge. Okay, I need to drill 3 holes around the perimeter. They're going to be 2.5mm diameter holes and 100 thou deep. They're spaced in 3/16 from this edge. I'm just touching off on the feeler gauge. Now I can just take the collet block out, spin it round 2 flats, and do the next one. That job's done. So far so good. Now the nut's mounted in the ER32 collet chuck. I'm going to turn this back until I get to the end of the step. I was debating whether to part it off or turn it off, but there's not that much to turn off and my parting tool's a little bit iffy on steel. It didn't take long, certainly quicker than setting up the parting off tool. And that is it. Now we've got a nice shiny nut, we need a nice shiny C-spanner to go with it. We've got a nice bit of brass here. I'm going to bore it out so it's a loose fit on the nut. I'm going to turn the outside down to what looks right. It's going to be parted off at 5mm thick. Then I'm going to drill a couple of holes for a couple of pins, a short one for the pin and a longer one for the handle, and they're going to be made of silver steel. That'll do. Nice fit with a little bit of wobble. You don't want anything too tight. Now a quick face off and clean up this face. Looking at the wall thickness, I think I'm happy with that, so I just want to clean it up. Now we can part it off, and that should give me a 5mm thick ring. I've given that an initial polish, mainly because it's easier to polish a complete ring than a partial ring. Put a couple of Sharpie marks at roughly 120 degrees. That's where the holes for the pins will be. Now for a tool that's going to be used hopefully only 2 or 3 times, I'm not going to go overboard with the accuracy where it really doesn't matter. That's in the vise up against a stop. I've already set the DRO so it's centered over the center of the ring. Now one of these gets a 2mm hole, the other one gets a 1/8 hole. Actually, the first one's a 2.5mm hole, not a 2mm hole. Now a quick hacksaw. There we have the third of a ring, well, just over a third of the ring. I'm going to tidy up those ends with a file. I'll do that off camera. I'll make the pins off camera, and then it all gets Loctited together. There's the finished nut. There's the finished C-spanner. Quite pleased with that. And it fits nicely. That's it for this video. Fairly simple part, but quite satisfying. Of course, it's always satisfying when you can polish something up. The next Quorn video will be the spindle body, and then after that it will either be moving on with the Quorn or possibly taking a diversion to the rear tool post. Depends on what you folks would like. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, leave them below. I read them all and I answer nearly all of them. Thank you. See you soon.